Hey, Mr. Carter, you are dead, my friend. You're dead. You're dead. You're gone. You're gone. Bye.
It's the musicality addiction.
What is going on? We're talking The Walking Dead. First time again. The episode, the premiere of season 6. Spoiler reviews. Spoilers. I'm assuming you saw the episode. I'm going to talk about what I liked about the episode, what I disliked about the episode. Let's jump right into what I didn't necessarily care for in this episode, because I want to get that over with, because it was kind of bugging me all episode, and that is the editing, the decision to make the flashbacks black and white and then the present time regular color. Here's the problem with that. It's just one, they transition with it. Like, it could work if you don't use it as much, but when you're using it throughout an hour and a half episode, it becomes distracting. It becomes in your head, like, why are they doing this? I get it. Why couldn't they just do it? Why do we even need flashbacks? Why don't they just do a coherent story from point A to point B in this episode? Also, what was in my head was, why I don't watch Talking Dead. So if you guys have answers from Talking Dead, I don't watch Talking Dead. I'm just letting it out, you guys know right now. So when it comes to when they do black and white episodes, you know how they run that through a season, black and white. When it comes to that, and it comes time to do that for this, are they going to go for the black and white scenes? We'll do regular color, and then for the present scenes, do we do black and white? I felt like it was a bad decision. I felt like they tried to go creative with it, but it doesn't. I don't think it's the right time to do that. I don't think it's the right time to do a season premiere. Or you could have just done it another kind of way that could have worked effectively as well. Artsy craftsy, I know I say take chances, but with this episode, it didn't. The chance they took, I felt, did not work. That's just me. I felt like it didn't work. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I will get into the relationships of Rick and Morgan. I liked how Rick and Morgan, there's something, there's a connection there. You love when these two are together. You love their interaction. You want more. You want them to talk about what they've been through, how far they've come. But you still feel like in this episode, there is no trust. You still feel like there's a little mistrust here, that there's a little, I still got to watch you, Morgan. Or Morgan going, I got to watch you too, Rick. It feels that way when I was watching this episode. Glenn and I believe Nicholas. Glenn and Nicholas's situation is a tough one. I mean, would you have killed him? And I think I would have, because you just never know when it's going to bite you in the ass. This is the same, but we had the same scenario in this episode with Rick and Carter. Now, if you read the comics, I said in my last review, it definitely is a remix to a lot of things that happen in the comics. Definitely a setup to what is going to happen in episode 2. Carter himself, I don't think the character, I don't remember his name was Carter. I don't think so. But we had that same confrontation. It played out a little bit differently with a little different, instead of Eugene, it's Glenn. But Eugene is the one that catches Carter in this mutiny meeting, and the fact that Rick didn't kill Carter shows you that Rick is still Rick, and that's what Morgan says. You're still there, Rick. I know you're still there, and that's great. That's great to see. I don't want too much of a dictatorship of Rick. I want him to see the light. I want him to be balanced. Right now, he's not balanced. Right now, it is all about surviving any means necessary. Any means necessary. Even the situations that's going to arise in upcoming episodes, it's going to be crazy how much Rick is going to maybe change, or maybe for the better or for the worse. So, I mean, Jesse's even scared of him when he had that little, well, I don't want to say she's scared of him, but she definitely keeping her distance away from him. When we had Rick and Ron, Rick, what was his name? The dad, Ron's dad. What was Ron's dad's name? I can't remember his name. Well, anyway, the one that Rick had to put down basically when Reggie died. So instead of burying him inside the colony, he buries him outside, and it's kind of rightfully so, because even though he calls him a killer when they're all killers, Morgan has some great lines in here because they're all killers at heart. So it's reasonable for Ron, even though in this episode, like, God damn it, Ron. But it's reasonable for Ron wanting to know where his dad is buried. I don't fault him for that. I mean, I don't fault him for hating Rick. I mean, that is the man who killed your father. No matter if your father was the biggest piece of shit ever, you still have that little connection. You still have that little feeling towards your father, and you want to know where he's buried. It is what it is. But we live in a zombie apocalypse world too, so that whole situation with Rick and Ron was it definitely felt like Rick was trying to be stepdaddy, Daddy Rick, Papa Rick. The zombie horde. Now here is also the thing that I don't necessarily agree with Rick on, is to take care of this. I think the comic book Rick wouldn't have done that. I think he would have tried to find the safest way possible to get rid of this nuisance, this zombie horde. Of course, they wanted to do this so they could set up for the next episode. But, I mean, I like the idea of trying to, there's little cracks in the wall. Why not try? Not just try it. Why not try to basically make sure that this wall doesn't, reconstruct this wall, or put some more semis in a way so these zombies can't get through, and have somebody on watch 24 hours, like take shifts. There's other ways than to try and take care of all these walkers by yourself. Not by yourself, but trying to kill all these walkers. It's too much of a risk. It's too much of a hassle. Too dangerous. If you know anything, you know that no matter what, I believe I read it in How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. And I've seen it in an anime too, High School of the Dead. I know, High School of the Dead. Whatever you do, if you don't need to take care of these zombies, don't go for it. Because if you put yourself in risk, there's always that chance of you getting caught in a crossfire or dying. There's always that risk. There's always that chance. I felt like it was an unnecessary thing for Rick to do that. I know he was trying to train these people. I know he was trying to make them survive. I know that this problem may happen later on. But I think there's other ways than to just let these zombies out and try to do what Rick was trying to do in his plan. It doesn't work. And look what's happening. Somebody's honking the damn horn. All these zombies are going to Alexandria. Then we're going to get this epic showdown. Which honestly, it's a nitpick, but for a viewer, you're like, yes, do Rick's plan. So a lot of things can just mess up and we can see all this carnage. If it was realistic, though, and I was living in a zombie apocalypse, I'm like, Rick, no, you're wrong, man. Why don't we try this? And if it doesn't work, we will try your way, and we will be ready. We will be ready, Rick. But that's not what happened. What else do we have here? Tara is awake again. She's conscious. That's great. Abraham's going crazy, man. What's the deal with Abraham, man? Abraham is a little loony. Sasha is focusing her life again. She's definitely... I don't think she's there where she wants to live, but she's trying. At least she's trying. What else do we have? We didn't have too much of Carl. We had, that Abraham when he was burying Reg and the other guy. Rick, it's all about, Daryl and Rick. That little conversation was very interesting. How Daryl feels like we don't need, how we help out is how we find more people. We find more people, bring them in, and make bigger, stronger community. Which Daryl has a point as well. Also, Michonne and Morgan had a funny moment with the candy bar. I don't really necessarily remember if she did take a candy bar. I think she did, if they referenced it. But you know, Michonne and Morgan, they're talking, which is great. You want to see those two characters talk, especially if you know exactly what's going on in comics. That's kind of all I could think really about. I felt like this episode, the pacing of it was okay. It was a little bit wonky for me a little bit. Sometimes it was a little slow. Oh, I will say though, Carol is doing a fantastic job. I don't know. I don't like to throw this around, but I'm terrified. But Rick has a plan, so I could go with Rick's plan. Like Carol the goody two shoes act is so funny. I absolutely love the part when Morgan's like, "Oh, were you a cop?" And Carol's like, "No. Why would you say that?" "Because I see you watching everybody, like you're ready." Like Morgan, and he's doing his kung fu training by himself. Like Morgan knows. Morgan is the shit, man. Morgan is probably my favorite character in the series. I don't know. I'll make a top 5. Don't worry. I don't know yet, because I really like Morgan, man. I really like Morgan. I really like when Morgan interacts with a lot of these people. I like to see him interact with Daryl. But overall, it was a good episode, but it wasn't the greatest episode. It wasn't like a fantastic. I think last season's opener was more. Well, that was definitely bigger, crazier. That was very entertaining. This one was more slowly getting back into the grind of The Walking Dead, slowly getting back to what these characters are feeling, and slowly setting up this epic maybe showdown next weekend, this epic moment. I don't know, but I was satisfied. I was satisfied with the episode. Like I said, there's some things I did not necessarily like. There's some things I did like. There's characters I really like the introduction of Heath. I like the actor. I think Heath is definitely going to be one of. He's going to be a great character, especially when he was talking to Eugene when we first get introduced to him. So Heath the actor looks like he's going to just smash it out of the park. I really like that. I really like the introduction of Heath and his questioning of Rick and his group, and him. He knows what's up, and I liked him teaming up with Glenn. I like how Glenn asserted himself once again in the Walking Dead series. It just makes you think, damn, this guy was a pizza delivery boy, and look at him now. I mean, he's doing all the good things. So, a lot of things in this hour and a half Walking Dead episode, the season premiere. A lot of things to come. Hopefully, a little bit more juice into the fire. The wolves are still right around the corner. We saw that the last. If it's any indicator, that is probably the wolves. That is probably the wolves that are honking the horn. A lot of people are saying that, but it might be somebody else. However, I am very excited to see what the wolves have to do and what the wolves are going to do with this community. So, thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Comment below. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Always love to hear you guys' thoughts. Now, this is a spoiler, so you can spoil the shit out of this down below. Like the video if you like it. And until next time, guys, till we talk more Walking Dead. I'm Dan the Man, Down Son, and I am out. Good night.